Hey guys, sorry about that. You know, as I've said in other films, the 10-minute timeline on YouTube really sucks. So now that I felt kind of rushed on those last two DVDs, screw it, I'm just gonna, I only have a few things left, so I think I'll just, kind of milk it and kind of be able to talk a little bit more in depth without feeling rushed on this. So moving on, I was at Target today, and this was another release that I had, no desire of finding or picking up, but I've never actually seen this in the stores. As a new copy. I've always seen it used, and I don't buy used stuff. It's just collector's mentality. I don't want to talk about it. I'm crazy, I know. But I had never seen this as a new copy, and I was at Walmart this morning, and I found it in the $5 bin, and I was so happy to find this. It's the Pagemaster from 1994. It has Macaulay Culkin and Christopher Lloyd, and has the voices of people like Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Stewart, and I always liked this movie. I mean, this is really a real underrated animation gem, I think. It's just, something that never gets spoken about, and I think it's a really original film. I mean, it blends, the first few scenes in the beginning are live action, and then the rest of the movie is all in animation, and it's really cool. I remember owning the VHS of this and watching it all the time. So to have this in the collection now, brand new for $5, I couldn't be happier with it. I mean, I'm just so happy that I found this. Gotta really dig through those $5 bins. Sometimes you'd be surprised on what you find. And then today, again, while I was at Walmart, I had picked up these new releases of the 1990s animated X-Men, the animated series. This is Volume 3, and I've been collecting these, since the first volume, when those came out the first day, and I'm always really eager to buy my movies the first day they come out, but especially ones like these, because what I've noticed is that after a certain amount of time, like on X-Men's Volume 1 and 2, like the first few weeks, they still had these slip cases, but as time went on, the slip cases seemed to disappear from the actual DVD, so you only bought them like that. And I know that may not seem like a big deal, but I mean, this is cool. I mean, it's really, it's like a holographic, slip case, and I just always like to get, the full, the full product that they're selling. So I mean, this is cool, and 2 discs. It's broken up into volumes, so I'm not exactly too sure what seasons these technically would be, but I think they'd probably be somewhere in the 3rd season on volume 3. And then in addition, Volume 4 came out today. Again with the slip case. This is really cool. Another 2-disc edition. So, currently they do have 4 volumes out of the 1990s X-Men animated series, so I would think actually probably within another volume, or possibly 2, that would probably wrap up, X-Men the animated series on DVD, which is great because that's a show that has been animation that's been in demand for a long time. So I'm really happy that finally came out. So now that they finally, are rounding out, finishing that, let's hope that they get on the ball with the 1990s Spider-Man that was on Fox, because that show kicked ass. I mean, just as much as X-Men, so I would love to have that one out. It seems like every Spider-Man cartoon that's been released in the last few years gets an immediate DVD release, but still the best one still isn't out. It doesn't make any sense, especially with Spider-Man 4 heating up. I'm surprised that as early as the first Spider-Man movie, they didn't capitalize on releasing season sets of those. I don't know what the hell they were waiting for, but whatever. So, the last 2 purchases that I bought today, I got from Best Buy, and they are the Deluxe editions of Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. This was always one of my favorites. I actually had this as a kid on VHS. I had Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and Friday the 13th 7. I would always watch these when I was 4 or 5 years old, which was awesome. And this is, I always liked this one. I mean, people have their... they have their preferences on what their favorite sequels are. I would easily put this at the top of the list for one of my favorite sequels, and I just always liked it. I always just had a strong love towards it. Special features are pretty good. They got a commentary with the director, John Carl Buechler, Lar Park Lincoln, and Kane Hodder. making of the film, slasher scenes intro, slash scenes, mind over matter, the truth about telekinesis, in case you want to, you know, initiate that part of your brain so you can use telekinesis in your everyday life. Makeover by Maddie, need a little touch-up, work my ass. Another goofy special feature, I assume. But these are cool, I gotta say. I mean, as much as Paramount waited, I think that they've done a pretty good job, although I have heard from hardcore Friday fans that know a little bit more than me about the series, that some of the early ones, like I think Friday 1, they still swear that it's not fully uncut. There are still a few more seconds or minutes of gore, something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'll continue buying them if they keep releasing more uncut and scrounging. I mean, that I gotta say, this is one series that these money grubbing bastard companies will still get. They'll continue to get the money out of me for, you know, new, better editions of these. But these look really cool, and I know a lot of people had their gripes with you know, the DVD art on a lot of these new deluxe editions. But I gotta say, I think these are really cool. I mean, take a look at that. I mean, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, although it's not as faithful to the, you know, the poster that they had, you know, for a Photoshop job, like, you know, what they're doing with all these DVDs these days, these are actually pretty good, I gotta say. And the final one that also came out today was Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Another, like, you know, this is actually a DVD art that they really stuck close to the poster art, but the only thing that I gotta say that does irk me is that they removed the World Trade Center, and I could understand their reasoning towards it, is that, you know, we live in a post 9/11 world, that's why they removed it. But it's like, dude, it's like, the movie came out in 1989, like, it was there when the movie was filmed, so leave it in the fucking picture. I mean, come on, like, you can't think that, like, it's gonna offend people to have, like, the World Trade Center up on there. I mean, Jesus Christ, I mean, there's a movie out on the shelves called World Trade Center that stars Nicolas Cage, and it's got the Twin Towers on the cover. It's like, why they feel the need to remove that? I think that was a big mistake. But this film has a commentary by actors Scott Reeves and Jensen Daggett, as well as Kane Hodder. It has a making of the film, slash scenes, and a gag reel. So this film actually concludes the Paramount's deluxe editions of the Fridays that they own, parts 1 through 8. So that's a wrap on them. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if maybe they released a full box set of all of them, but I think it would just pretty much be all of them together in some box. So if you've bought them individually, it wouldn't probably be a worthy purchase, but I don't know if they're going through with that. So, you know, we'll have to see on that. So, I guess that would wrap up my DVD update. I'm sorry that it had to get broken up into 2 parts. That really pisses me off. So, you know, I hope that you guys enjoyed tuning in and checking it out. I have to make one note. There was one release that I really wanted to get today, and that is Phantasm 2. But as it were, every store in apparently New Jersey sucks at stocking that. I mean, I just like waking up on Tuesday mornings and going to the stores, and, you know, I remember when you didn't really have to worry about, like, hunting down, like, checking stores, calling days in advance to make sure they were going to have it. Like, I remember up until, like, just, like, 2-3 years ago, I could, you know, wake up and go there and not have to worry about if, like, certain stores would get it or not. But it seems like every week you have to do that because you don't know what Best Buy or Walmart, you know, is going to put in stock or not. It's actually really annoying. So, as it were, Best Buy didn't have it, Walmart didn't have it, FYE didn't have it, Barnes & Nobles didn't have it, nobody had it, so I have to resort to ordering it online, which isn't really a huge deal, but I really would have appreciated to show it in the update, because I really did want that. That's the last, you know, last sequel of the Phantasm series that hasn't been released out on DVD, and it has been really sought after for, you know, tons of horror fans. So I have to say, this year is like the year of horror releases. I mean, you know, you're getting so many with Phantasm 2, Hardware, Night of the Creeps. You know, there's just so many big horror titles coming out that had never, you know, nobody ever thought would see the light of day. But, you know, all in one year they're coming, so that's great news. But, you know, as I said, thanks again for tuning in, guys. As always, you know, leave your comments, feedback. Please subscribe. I love doing these videos for you guys, and I'm really happy you guys tune into them. As always, a reminder. Tune in on Thursday for my next batch of Q reviews. As I stated before, it's going to be a recent but missed Volume 1 triple feature of The Soloist, Sedectiki New York, and Knowing. See you guys on Thursday. Thanks again.